gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, I can still get shot by the police, but I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's a Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
We're hearing from the mother of a Macomb County man who was shot and killed at the Russell Industrial Center in Detroit. She says she's concerned that her family won't get justice in this case. As Ray Strickland reports from the Russell Industrial Center on Detroit's west side, the mother says she can't move forward until charges are filed in her son's case.
Damn.
It's overwhelming sorrow.
It's been 2 weeks since the murder of Samuel Gartly, and for his mother, Bobby Gartly, the grief continues to get harder each passing day, knowing the person responsible still hasn't been charged.
This should have never happened. Should have never happened.
And that is really sad. You have this young glider male who was just struck and life cut short. And we don't know who the perpetrators are, but I mean, do you guys think it takes a rocket scientist to guess? And these are some of these cross-racial murders that really are starting to add up, especially in 2023. And if the community doesn't get a hold of this immediately, like now, like this year, we're going to start seeing some real backlash. And I'm not advocating for this, but I'm essentially worried that people are going to start looking into the numbers and they're like, man, what is this victimization, marginalized talk that y'all are talking about? You know, when we look at the data, and the data are showing us that you know, the victims are actually gliders, and they're losing their lives to the rhetoric that the community is being physically victimized.
The 23-year-old, who would have turned 24 on June 17th, was shot and killed during a robbery on June 5th at the Russell Industrial Center.
So a robbery, all right? Who shoots and deletes somebody during a robbery, even when they still give it up? We just covered the story in New Orleans. Somebody let me know. Yes, you are correct. The super gremlins are on demon time.
Lee says her son was an entrepreneur at the building that provides space for artists. But since the murder, she says police have kept her in the dark on her son's investigation.
It's just making everything harder. It's compounding.
Detroit police have confirmed the person was arrested in connection to Samuel's murder. Gartly says the suspect is currently in the hospital after his son shot the person during the robbery attempt. As of this morning, police tell us charges still haven't been filed, but confirmed a warrant has been submitted.
I want answers.
For Gartly, she's growing concerned about what this delay could mean for her son's case and if her family will ever get justice.
I feel like I can't start to heal and I can't exhale until charges are pressed. I need this. Our family needs this.
Woo! So, very sad situation. I feel her grief, feel the pain. The community, I mean, we're in deep trouble. Deep trouble. And I fear that, these individuals most likely won't be serving justice.
We all need it.
And Gartly says there were 3 other people involved in her son's murder. She's hoping that those 3 individuals are arrested as well. So if you have any information about this case, she's urging for you to give police a call or leave an anonymous tip with Crime Stoppers. Reporting in Detroit, Ray Strickland, CBS News, Detroit.
Other news tonight, the parents of a 6-year-old boy who shot his 11-month-old brother are now facing criminal charges.
Lolita Morgan and Mandel Berryman are both charged with child abuse in the case, along with other gun charges. Let's get out to Victor Williams. He's live for us tonight. And Victor, that infant was shot in the face.
Damn.
Yeah, that's true, Christy and Devin. And the good thing to come out of all of this, if any, is that this young man or little boy is expected to be okay. He did have to have facial reconstructive surgery. On top of that, he has had other surgeries for that gunshot wound to the face as well as the shoulder. But now it's time for his parents to answer to the judge in what's going to be the first step in a very long journey.
Wow. So you have this young man, an infant, who was shot in the face by an older brother, and the parents are involved in some way, whether it be neglect or directing this young man to do what he did. I mean, it's getting rough out here in the community.
Part of what troubles me here is the allegation.
28-year-old Lolita Morgan and 50-year-old Mandel Berryman have both been charged with second-degree child abuse and connection to the shooting of their 11-month-old son.
One of the children was interviewed and stated that they heard another child tell this child to get the gun.
Back on June the 2nd, investigators say that Lolita's 6-year-old son somehow got a hold of a loaded gun that was sitting up high on a shelf and somehow shot the baby twice, once in the face and once in the shoulder.
They then saw him stand up on a chair to get the gun that was on the black thing in the food area. He then got down from the chair and he had shot the other child.
Berryman looked remorseful the entire time, shaking his head and even looking to the sky, the prosecuting attorney insisting he shouldn't have been home with the gun in the first place since he has multiple prior felonies.
So you see, and that's where the neglect comes in, and that's where the gun laws are ineffective. He's not supposed to have a weapon because he is a felon. He still has one. There's nothing you can really do about that. So if you think that you can pass stricter gun legislation and laws that make it so that you need to secure your firearm in your home and all this other stuff, I mean, if you're that naive to think that that is going to change anything, then, I mean, you probably shouldn't be a legislator.
He was given a bond worth $50,000. Lolita, on the other hand, seemed remorseful, hanging her head the entire time.
The court notes formal reading has been waived and enters a not guilty plea on your client's behalf.
It's believed she's the actual owner of the weapon. She was given a bond in the amount of $35,000.
She's the first of the two defendants listed on the complaint.
And both are due back in court on Tuesday morning. Victor Williams, Local 4.
All right, thanks so much, Victor.
Yo, what's good, BGZM News 17 family? I'm at the corner of Jesse Jackson and Marcus Garvey, and I got some bad news for you. As you can see, I lost my job. I'm out here living in cardboard boxes outside of boarded up vacant homes. YouTube said I'm done getting money out here in these streets. They even took my funky ass suit. So anything right now would help. So go ahead and hit that Cash App, hit that PayPal, hit that GoFundMe, hell, cop the merch. Or if you want to make the long-term commitment to the Jinquavius Jackson Fund, join the Patreon so that I can continue to put out top-notch content each and every day. Also, check out the Rumble, where there is absolutely no censorship. Link in the description box below.
Hey, yo, ain't that nigga Jinquavius? Yo, I recognize.
No, that's not me no more.
Hey, yo, run your pocket.
Y'all killing me with this shit.
Do the opposite of Antonio Brown and take
What
all your
more do you want from me?
Detroit police confirm a 14-year-old was killed while playing with a gun last night on Detroit's east side. Happened around 1 o'clock this morning at a home on Fordham Street. That's right near the intersection of Kelly and Moross. Sean Lay live with more here. And Sean, it sounds like police are pretty sure they know how he got the gun.
Correct, Devin. Good evening to you. We've been digging into this, really a tragedy. Two things really jump out. You mentioned that gun. Police just told us that it was stolen out of Chesterfield Township just 2 days ago. The other, the 14-year-old being shot in his side. EMS and police, there was a delay. People there did not call police and EMS right away to help the kid. Police say the adults at the home were allegedly covering up illegal activity.
Wow. So more and more neglect going on in the city of Detroit when it comes to firearm safety. And like I've repeated over and over again, firearm safety is extremely important to the community, specifically the community, because it appears that we are the most irresponsible when it comes to handling firearms. Okay. You have a 14-year-old boy who is outside filming himself playing with a gun with his friends and ends up getting deleted by said gun. And instead of immediately calling the police, the adults who are fully grown, able-bodied black men and women were, involved in some illicit activities, and they needed to cover their behinds. So they made sure that they covered their behinds, or attempted to cover their behinds, before the police arrived, which inevitably resulted in this young man losing his life. Could a quicker call to the police have saved his life? Possibly. Could quick action and quick reaction, into scooping this young man up and rushing him to the hospital could have saved his life? Possibly, but no. Instead, they covered their own behinds at the expense of this young man. This is the world we're living in, and this is the community that people are continually trying to defend.
Before calling.
Until we actually get upset with this and actually start talking and dealing with each other, it's going to keep going. It's not going to stop.
Heartbreak and anger in this neighborhood on Detroit's east side. A 14-year-old in the upstairs of this home with a 15 and 16-year-old friend at 1 this morning.
They're trying to shoot some sort of video and reuse real guns with real bullets. And unfortunately, we lost a 14-year-old.
Police.
So they were shooting some type of video. Yeah, they were shooting a music video. They were shooting a music video and rapping. And I mean, this is what the kids are taught to do to get on, to get popping, to get lit in the city. You have to have guns, you have to have cash, you have to have chicks in the music videos in order to get popping. And you have to play with the gun like it's a toy and wave it at the camera, endangering not only your life, but whoever is filming as well.
Say a 15-year-old was holding a loaded handgun, likely to show off in the video. That teen discharging the gun accidentally, and the 14-year-old was hit. Number one, police believe medical help for that teen was delayed by the people inside the house due to illegal activity.
It was told by some of the neighbors they were moving some stolen cars prior to the police arrival. We believe there was a delay in getting him help, and so they can remove some of the stolen stuff that was at the house or around the house.
Two, police say the teens stole the gun by practicing something called car hopping.
They jump in. If cars are open, they jump in, take what they can. That's how they got this gun in Chesterfield Township 2 days ago.
Wow.
Does the owner of the handgun up in Chesterfield have any legal exposure for not securing that gun?
There are potential charges, yeah.
Number three, stolen cars here, stolen key fobs inside, rodents, and not much food. The 14-year-old essentially homeless, a woman here bringing him in back in December. Back here live, that woman who brought that 14-year-old in under her wing to have some shelter for him, very upset, obviously did not want to talk to us today, asked for privacy. That's what we're giving. Devin, two teens upstairs with that 14-year-old. The 16-year-old who fired the gun apparently ran, and police think they will be catching up with him rather quickly tonight. 15-year-old stuck around and did talk to police with his parents.
Sean, I guess the victim, a high school at Denby, right?
He was enrolled at Denby, so we checked with PSCD, and they said this is really hard because their hearts are breaking for their student, but he hadn't been there in a very long time. They said if so, they could have plugged him into some help in his life situation, but even tracking down parents or relatives, extremely difficult.
Tragic in a lot of ways. All right, Sean.
Top story tonight, a 14-year-old boy is killed overnight on Detroit's east side while making a music video with two of his friends.
Police still want to
Chico.
speak with one of those friends who they say took off from the scene. Our Andres Gutierrez is downtown at Detroit Public Safety Headquarters with the latest developments on yet another tragic accidental shooting.
They're trying to shoot some sort of video and reuse real guns with real bullets. And unfortunately, we lost a 14-year-old.
That young boy had been homeless until December when a family friend let him and his mom stay at this house on Fordham Avenue.
Damn, so he was homeless and ended up finding a place to stay, but ended up being the wrong family.
It's here where the 14-year-old, along with his 15 and 16-year-old friends, were making a video around 1 a.m. At some point, police say a gun that was in the hands of the 16-year-old went off.
We believe it was an accidental discharge of the weapon. The 14-year-old was struck on the left side of his body, traveled up into his armpit, and he was brought downstairs by his one friend. The 15-year-old, by the time the officers got there, when medics got there, they pronounced this unfortunate young man deceased on scene.
According to DPD, the gun was stolen out of a car parked in front of a home in Chesterfield Township 2 days ago as part of a social media challenge.
They call it car hopping. Yep, individual, they go into a subdivision, 4 kids will jump out, and they stream that all the time. They put it on their social media sites.
Wow, so he's saying that they're Facebook Live, Instagram Live, they're car hopping. Sisters, come get your kids.
You can Google it, YouTube it, whatever you want. You'll be able to pull it up. They jump out, and the 4 go in. They get whatever they can, and they leave. They go into the next car.
With yet another child killed in an accidental shooting, neighbors are saddened but not shocked.
We can sit and cry and boo-hoo all we want. We can say, oh, the parents can be locked up. Oh, we need more police officers, tougher laws. Until people actually get tired of this. Until parents actually talk to their kids, be with their kids, learn what's going on. And social media is nothing but, it's a double-edged sword. It's good for what it's good for, and it's totally terrible for stuff like this.
A lot of people don't make it aware to their kids that, you know, it's not a game, it's not a joke.
And we know what state the community is when you have sisters who are raising children with gauges in their ear and E equals MC squared, which it doesn't even look like she has the C there. It just looks like E equals M squared tattooed below her eye. If No Solutions was a person, this would be her.
You know, guns are not toys. They're
okay. She has the C. I see it. All right.
Weapons of destruction.
Investigators have interviewed the victim's 15-year-old friend, but are still looking to speak with the 16-year-old who had the weapon in his hand. In Detroit, Andres Gutierrez, CBS News, Detroit.
Tonight with another gun in the wrong hands. This time a 14-year-old is killed after an accidental shooting on Detroit's east side.
Police say it happened while some teens were making a video. Fox News' Jessica Dupnack joining us live with more details. Jessica?
At this point, that is what police are saying, that the shooting was accidental, but they do have some evidence to comb through still. Remember, they were filming some kind of video on social media. Now, we are learning, adding insult to injury, there seemed to be some kind of delay between that 14-year-old being shot and folks in that home calling 911. And we understand that delay might have been to conceal other crimes that were happening.
They're trying to shoot some sort of video and reuse real guns with real bullets. And unfortunately, we lost a 14-year-old.
It's as simple and tragic as that. That 14-year-old with 2 other teens, 15 and 16-year-old boys upstairs inside this home off Fordham Ave on Detroit's east side early Thursday morning. A gun they'd stolen car hopping, which is searching the suburbs for open cars to steal from.
If cars are open, they jump in, take what they can. That's how they got this gun in Chesterfield Township 2 days ago.
Detroit Police Assistant Chief Charles Fitzgerald says the 16-year-old was mishandling the 9mm pistol when it went off, hitting the 14-year-old in the side. The bullet went up into his armpit. One of them carried the teen downstairs and delayed calling 911, possibly to conceal other crimes.
A lot of stolen goods at this home. There were stolen car fobs. It was told by some of the neighbors they were moving some stolen cars prior to the police arrival.
The 16-year-old gave police a fake name and ran from the scene. The 15-year-old is currently in police custody. The teen boy, who was pronounced dead at the house, was staying at that Fordham Ave house since December with a friend and his mom. The teen's mom lived elsewhere. They were technically homeless. That house, we're told, in chaotic condition.
Even as you enter the threshold.
So you heard the house was in chaotic condition, and yes, they might have been scrambling to get rid of evidence, but I 100% believe that that house was already chaotic before the police had attempted to, you know, break the barrier to entry.
The doorway, there were mice running through, and It was, I give this woman a lot of credit for taking this young boy in. It's been there since December, but it looked like most of the stuff was scarce. Food was scarce, but at least gave him a roof over his head.
It's unclear if the shooting was streaming somewhere on social media. 8 cell phones were seized from the home as evidence.
I can't stress enough the senselessness and the silliness.
Talking about charges, too early to tell on that. That'll be a decision up to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. But early on, I mean, that 15-year-old could face charges, the 16-year-old who mishandled the gun, even the gun's owner. Remember, it was stolen from a vehicle in Chesterfield Township just 2 days ago, unsecured in someone's car. Reporting live, Jessica Dupnack, Fox 2 News.
Well, Jessica, it sounds like it might not be exactly clear.
And it sounds like they're trying to blame the person who owned the firearm for getting their firearm stolen. Makes no sense. Unsecured in their car. Bro, what? It's in their car. How is it unsecured? You're assuming that it's going to be secure. You have it in your car. It's in the glove compartment. This is just another way, it's doublespeak, another way to take accountability, much deserved accountability from the community. These super gremlins are on demon time.
Who own the home or live the home where this happened. Were there any adults there at the time?
Total of 7 people when this all happened, 3 adults, 4 teens or minors. But yeah, the house seemed very chaotic. You're talking about rats, no food in the home. It really sounded like a place where people came and went. We talked to neighbors earlier. There were kids always in and out of there all hours of the night. So really bound for something like this to happen.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
So it is what it is.